Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another Metalwork Monday. My name is Gary, and this week we just happened to be intersecting Metalwork Monday with part 4, the finale of the Tailstock modifications that we did to get it up and running. So we're going to show you the finale here, the final steps that we took, and some video at the end of the Tailstock in action. So take a look. Alright, well here we go, starting out part 4. And you know, I've never really shown a good look at how this actually looks here. You can see these bosses, hopefully the light's picking that up, threaded bosses there, and the plate here goes on top, and you can see the bolt hole. Well, it's supposed to catch those, and obviously you can see it's halfway in between, which really causes a real issue. If I needed this to be a 1-inch spacer, it would have probably, you know, hit about perfect, and I could have drilled through the aluminum and caught those holes, and everything would have been fine. But I was just getting ready to figure out what I was going to do, kind of looking at the different options, all the great suggestions, and was going back and forth to my laptop looking at comments on part 3. And Ed Ginsberg, who I think he watches most of the videos, but leaves a comment here and there, had a really good thought that I never even thought of, which is, could you put 2 bolts on the inside here and push against the edge of the aluminum this way and that way? So yes, you would have to take it off every time to do that, but at least there is some adjustment there, and it would save a whole lot of, you know, I was getting ready to drill and tap these holes here and do some other stuff, and I really, which would not have been too big of a deal. One of my goals has been not to disturb this to the point where it couldn't be put back and used on a 10-inch lathe should I ever decide to sell it, you know, and get the correct one later down the road when I get things, you know, more established and in better shape. So I was looking at some different ways to do that, and this would be perfect because it allows me to use these. The bolt would come through, you know, from the inside and push this way or that way. You know, technically I guess you could do it pushing against this piece here, either way. Can't think if one's better than the other, but I am going to open these slots up just a little bit more to allow for a little bit more room. And these bolts that go in there are, like a lot of the things on this machine, are fine thread. This is 3/8 24, and I don't have any 3/8 24 in my bolt bin over there, and it's Sunday. And I don't think Home Depot, I know Lowe's has a little selection of fine thread. I don't have a Lowe's nearby. So I'm just going to make it. You know, I got the lathe. I've done a little bit of threading on the die so far. I'm just going to, this is some 1/2-inch stock. And I need to get the, you know, I know 375. Let's see what it actually is on these. On the threaded end, 357. So I'm just gonna take this down to 357 and run the die over it, and then probably put a smaller square drive on one end of it to use as the drive for it, to make it, you know, smaller, thinner, out of the way, because we are limited on space in there, and they'll have to be cut to an exact length and all that to make them work right. And then I'll drill and tap in this void in the casting here, probably just on either side of this boss that says whatever that says there, which would come in to this plate, you know, somewhere in here, and it would pin this plate to this plate, so this would all be one, and then when you push the screws against this, it would move the bottom plate because it's drilled and tapped to that. Alright, so 4-minute intro just to explain that. Hopefully these videos have been really long, and I could have just done it old school style and just, you know, shown all the footage, but it's been good to have the dialogue. I really appreciate it, all the input, all the suggestions. You can see we got a big mess here on the table, so clean up a little bit and see what we can get going here. Round stock here, and I bought some links of the nominal sizes so that I could use the collet chuck as much as I could, just to save on you know, having to do so much indicating in the forge yaw. So that is $4.98. So we need to take that down to we need to take that down to $3.70. All right, so we'll get going here. We're right on 370. All right, we're going to switch over to our parting tool here. I tried to use this one time before without a lot of luck, so it may be a height issue or something, I don't know. We'll give it another try though. Go. A little loose in there. It felt like it was being really easy to cut with the die, but I put it at the same dimension the other one was, 370 thousandths. Let's see how this one fits. Yeah, it's a little loose too. Mine's a little bit more loose. It'll work. All right, we're gonna make one more off camera, and then we'll get the main plate bolted to the aluminum plate and see what happens. All right, so we've got our spacer plate and the base plate clamped together, and we're gonna drill and tap, drill 2 holes in the bottom of this recessed area, and drill and tap those with 1/4-20. So we got a spot drill in there, and then we're gonna use a letter F, drill our tap drill size for the aluminum, and then we'll take this off and drill the clearance hole separate for it. So now that's got that locked into the aluminum plate. So when we make our adjustment, it's moving the base, you know, and working like we want it to. The only downside about it is just doing the setup on it. You know, every time I've got to take it off, come back, take this apart, make the adjustment. But you know, I think it's, for what we're doing, it's going to work well. And you know, so I'll get it fitted up, and the next shot will be drilling and boring a hole from the tailstock. Alright guys, there it is, all finished up. Just a couple of little sample aluminum spacers. I parted that one off a little too thick, and but you know, the point was just using the tailstock, drilling, boring. That one really looks pretty good. You know, the chamfer looks good, the OD chamfer looks good, it all looks good. Checking it out here, you know, as far as the accuracy of the tailstock, it seems to be about 1/1000 off from side to side. You got 211 there and 212 there, 211. So I know the spindle is 1.5 thousandths off. I don't know if the question is, you know, if the spindle is 1.5 thousandths off, will that affect this you know. And I'm not trying to say my work is perfect, because I know it's not. It's really close, but it's not dead nuts on. But you know, I'm happy with this, you know, and I know that these are little bitty parts, and the longer you make something, if there's inaccuracies, the more pronounced the inaccuracy gets. So we'll just have to see, you know, we'll have to see what kind of projects I do on it, and see how it holds up. All right, guys, appreciate all the suggestions, all the comments, all the feedback. This was fun working along with everybody, and you know, taking your tips and all. So thanks, guys. Have a good one.